Hey, what's up guys? My name is Moda and welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel. Today's video, we do now have way more clarity on this new requirement with ALEO mining, and that is now the staking portion. Yes, we do now have to stake in order to mine. We do have numbers, we do have information from the top pools. We're going to go over it, that way we're well informed, so any guys who have any existing hardware, you're definitely going to want to watch just to keep up. Any guys considering getting one, you're going to want to watch just to get an idea. And for any guys who have pre-orders, definitely want to stay in tune, okay? So this is still kind of fluid. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing gets delayed. We'll talk about why here, okay? If that sounds good, guys, stay tuned. Let's get right to this thing. So we do have quite a bit more clarity. This is a continuation of the video we did last week regarding this when it was announced. It looks like the pools have come to terms as to what they are going to do, so we're going to go over those requirements. Okay, we're going to start off with Whale Pool, and essentially them and F2 Pool are kind of doing the same thing as far as giving you the option. Okay, so we'll go through it real quick. Starting from July 11th, you can choose the following payment method in the ALEO mining payment interface: delayed payment of earnings. So daily mine ALEO will temporarily accumulate in your Whale Pool account and will no longer be paid out automatically. The accumulated tokens will be used for future staking to ensure continued mining after August 1st. So it's essentially so you can kind of build your staking amount that you're going to need in proportion to your hash rate. Okay, so that's giving you one option. The other option is just essentially just being able to take your rewards as they come, but just be advised that after August 1st, you may not earn crap. Okay, so these are the numbers. This is what we've been waiting for. Now we're making sense of it. So they have it listed per gigahash. So if you look at the user hash rate per gigahash, at 1 gigahash, the requirement is going to be 4,761 tokens, right? So we can round it up for easy math purposes up to 4,800. Okay, so that's per gigahash. So again, to kind of break it down, because again, most of these units are rated in terms of megahash, right? So in order to do that, the difference between gigahash, megahash, it's the 1,000, right? We're going to step down. So we're going to take our 4,800. We're going to divide that by that 1,000 so we can see how many ALEO per megahash we need, right? So this way it makes it easier to kind of figure out the math depending on the size of your unit. In this case, it's going to be 4.8 ALEO per megahash, right? So in the case of like an A0, which is probably what the majority of you guys have, we're just going to multiply that by 60, okay? Because again, that unit is 60 megahash. So your staking requirement will be 288 ALEO in order to get your full rewards after August 1st. Okay, in terms of fiat value, how much is that worth? It's about 65 bucks, right? So when we look at that, the consensus was, okay, that's not too bad. Just keep in mind, though, that's the initial allotment. Okay, as we've seen with this proposal, it's going to go up pretty dramatically every few months. Not every few, actually every 3 months or every quarter. So the initial activation month, it's going to be 100,000. 3 months later, so come November 1st, it's going to be 250,000. Okay, and then 3 months after that, it's going to double from there. So just to kind of continue the trend, going from 100 to 250, that's a 2.5x. So we can multiply the 288 by 2.5. It's going to go up to 720. 3 months after that, it's going to double. It's going to go from 250,000 to 500,000. So it's going to double. So it'll go up to 1440. Okay, and keep in mind, again, this is for the little AE0. You're going to have to scale up as you have bigger units. So if you get that 300 megahash unit, you're going to 5x that. Okay, and if you have a big boy unit, again, the A0 is 100 watts. You're going to multiply that by 35 if it's a 3,500 watt. Okay, so you can kind of quickly see how fast it escalates, and again, it just continues. Every 3 months, it's going to go up by 250,000 up until that 2-year mark where it reaches 2.5 million. Okay, so it's pretty dramatic. So again, any guys with little A0s, again, most of you guys, if you have one, you've probably already mined the amount for at least the next few months. Again, 288 for the activation, so August 1st and November 1st, you're going to need the 720. Okay, at this point, for example, with mine about 1,200. So yes, we do technically have enough. The issue we're going to kind of run into, and they don't have necessarily a solution as of yet, is that yes, I'm accumulating the ALEO in there, so I'm having a nice little bag or whatever, but I'm not going to have enough by August 1st, right? And as of now, there's no way to kind of deposit. I would think that's going to change here in the coming days. But this is definitely one pitfall because a lot of us, again, we're taking daily payouts or payouts every couple of days. Because again, I'm sure like a lot of you guys, including myself, I don't like anybody custodying my coins. So I don't necessarily want multiple payments a day either. But every couple of days is when I take payments. So like mine was set up for like every 30 ALEO. So it'd be every like 3 or 4 days or whatever. But considering what's here, and by the time August 1st hits, because again, I'm only getting about 8 to 9 ALEO per day now, and we only have a few weeks left, so I'm not going to hit that amount. So hopefully there is going to be a way to deposit some in order to meet the threshold so we continue. But as of now, that's the gist of it, at least for whale pool. Okay, we go on to the next one. We'll go on to F2 pool, and essentially doing the exact same thing. Right, so they have the same estimation. It's estimated that about 4,800 ALEO tokens will need to be staked for every 1 gigahash of ALEO hash rate in order to receive the full mining rewards. Okay, so one thing that'll be interesting to see if they kind of prorate the amount. Let's say you don't have the full 288, but let's say you have 144. Are you going to earn half the rewards? Like, that's not fully clear there either. Or if it's just going to be considered invalid and you're just not getting anything, right? So make sure you definitely pay attention to that. Make sure you do have enough depending on where you're going to operate from, whether it's F2 pool, whale pool, wherever you're at. Keep those things in mind. Again, it's August 1st is the date. So at the bottom, please note that starting from August 1st, if your ALEO account balance is 0 or your staked amount is insufficient, your submitted ALEO hash rate will be considered invalid or partially invalid. Okay, so this is why it seems like it's kind of up in the air also as how they're going to do it. But essentially, they're giving you guys the same options. You can continue to accumulate whatever's there. They're going to hang on to it, or you can just take your daily rewards in August 1st. You can either terminate or do as you need. The only one that is a little bit different right now, and we don't even know if it's different, they're currently in reality just being vague, right? And it's DX pool. Okay, so they put their announcement up on the 10th. Dear miner friends, in order to cooperate with the latest consensus proposal, which is this ARC of the ALEO network and the upcoming adjustment of the staking mechanism, DXPool will soon launch the ALEO staking service to provide a convenient staking channel for willing users and improve the efficiency of asset use. So theirs might be kind of unique on top of the fact that they are already probably the most prepared for it just because they actually do offer staking services. DXPool actually does have things for like ETH and such. So reality, they're probably going to be the one that's most prepared for it just because they already have similar solutions. So this is where it gets interesting though. We solemnly promise users will not be forced to participate in staking and all participation is voluntary. Interesting. The miner's income will not be used for staking without authorization and the user's income belongs to the user. There is no forced lockup mechanism and users can freely manage their pledged assets. Provide a one-click staking function to help users participate in the long-term construction of the ALEO network. Okay, so this is where it gets confusing, and the reason I'm saying that they're being vague is that kind of glancing at it sounds like, oh, well, maybe there's not going to be a staking requirement. So according to this, there's no forced lockup mechanism, and that's true, but it's also not saying that you're going to get your rewards either. Okay, so it says they're going to release more details. I wouldn't bank on them being to the point where they're gonna stake everything for you. It does kind of sound like they're thinking about it potentially. It's gonna be hard to say what they do. If they do that though, where they are gonna cover the staking, it's gonna get tricky, right? So the main reason we're even just talking about only those 3 pools, it's pretty likely that once this goes into effect, they may be the only 3 pools existing. Okay, they are currently the 3 biggest. ZK Work is number 4, and it's significantly smaller, and then just gets smaller from there. Is it really going to be worth it for these pools to deal with all the hassle of this BS, especially considering the fact that they got so little time to implement this or to come up with a good solution to implement it? Honestly, probably not. The main one being a Bitmain's pool and pool down here, they actually do have some hash rate on there. Again, they've mentioned the fact that there is going to be a Bitmain unit. Will it come out after this? Who knows? But that is just something to consider. But if DXPool does do something where you're not going to have to stake, what do you think is going to happen? Everybody's going to go to DXPool. Are they really going to be able to cover? Because at this point, they're going to have to triple their staking amount. right? So I don't think that's going to be too realistic for them either. It's going to be hard to say what they come up with. In reality, it'd be in their best interest, considering it's only going to be these 3 pools, to kind of come up with a consensus as to what they're going to do. Are they going to keep it as is? Because that's what it seems like. But again, neither one is kind of having a solution to actually being able to add ALEO to your account in order for you to qualify. Again, if they would give these pools enough time, they could probably implement something quite a bit better. But right now, they're going to have to come up with these like half-ass solutions to kind of just qualify to be able to kind of keep it going, which one big thing that it's going to open up is that it's going to be a huge security risk, right? Like I mentioned, I'm not a fan of other people custodying my coins, and that's kind of what's happening here. And the fact that this is going to be a rushed, half-assed, potentially solution, not a big fan of. The only advantage is that this initial lockup, again, is only 288 coins. Not that big of a deal, but for you guys with larger units or staking larger amounts, it's going to get tricky on top of it being a big security risk, right? We're going to have all these coins because, again, it's hard to say how they're going to do it. It's going to be per individual account. It's going to go onto one big fatty wallet. Again, a huge target on them. It's hard to say, right? But again, this is why I'm just not a fan of this proposal. Not only of the proposal itself, but the fact that they're giving no time for these pools to actually implement it. It shows you how high regards they're holding these pools or us as provers to, right? As we mentioned with this proposal, to sum it up, it's pretty much to shit on us, the provers, and they're calling us essentially the dumpers of the coin for us causing a lot of this price action. You can have your own interpretation of it. That's the way I'm interpreting it, and the way that they're kind of treating this change kind of gives me even more reason to believe so, because again, this is a massive change. They're not giving these pools enough time. And the fact that it's so limited here, again, it's just such a big security risk, especially if you go down to only 3, right? And if one of them does offer some kind of incentive and everybody jumps to that one, asking for trouble, right? Again, I really wish they would kind of hold things off, give them a few months. Like realistically, it shouldn't start until that first quarter. Like they should kind of skip this activation month and have it start November 1st. Give these pools the opportunity to really build a system so it's ready to go, right? But literally giving them weeks notice, not a good look, right? So for both of them, we're going to have to wait to see how they are going to do it so we can add tokens, because again, a lot of us aren't probably have the tokens to cover it. Again, we've mined enough. For those of you guys who don't even have your unit yet, you probably are going to look into buying some, at least to meet that minimum threshold. It's up to you on whether you want to purchase beyond that. I mean, it's really hard to say what happens from here. It's going to be kind of up to your personal belief. Do you think this is the beginning of the run-up? Do you think it's going to be extended? It's hard to say, and the reason I'm even mentioning that is because price action, right? Let's say you do have one of these AE2s that is a significantly higher amount of hash rate, meaning you're going to need a lot more coins staked. So again, this initial amount, then every 3 months you're going to need more, right? So if you're in the belief that we are in the beginning stages of the run-up, you may want to accrue more now while the price is lower, right? Versus if you wait until November 1st, what do we think is going to happen by that time frame? Potentially a lot of good price action, right? So this fiat price, this fiat value is going to look dramatically different if ALEO is at freaking 50, 60 cents and you still have to stake that amount, right? It's not going to be a fun time versus buying it now while it's cheaper. That might be in your better interest if you're planning on doing it for that long or going beyond that amount. Okay, so this is why you want to kind of make up your mind, because it's hard to say what happens from here. Yes, things are looking good right now, but then something can happen in a few weeks and ALEO goes back to under 15 cents, down to 12 cents or whatever, where it was not too long ago. Okay, or even lower than that. Okay, but like we mentioned at the inverse, BTC can go up to 140 in a couple weeks, and this thing's at 40, 50 cents, right? That's also a possibility. Okay, so understand those dynamics. For any guys who don't have a unit and you're considering, just fully understand that, right? Especially like we mentioned with any of those bigger units, those like 3,500 waters, it's going to be a significant amount you're going to have to stake, especially as the time goes on. Okay, so like for me, for example, that definitely was already a huge turnoff. It's definitely a wrap the way they're implementing it. To me, it's like they're shitting on us provers. They're shitting on the pools, which is a damn shame. So for me, I'm freaking fully out of ALEO. I'm going to continue to mine this thing. I'm going to make the most out of this AE0. But as far as like trying to accrue beyond that, build a bag of it, absolutely not. Not a fan of their choices here. Not a fan of how they're implementing it. On top of the fact that just not a fan of why they're doing it, right? So to each their own on that front. The only benefits here is that, again, there are going to be a ton of people who are just not going to be aware of this requirement, right? So chances are after August 1st, if you're fully in place, whatever pool you're at, there's probably a good chance that your rewards may go up at least temporarily. Because again, the emissions are going to be the same, but if there's less people that are qualifying for this, your rewards can potentially go up. The other benefit here is it's probably going to limit the amount of hash rate that's coming online, right? And they're going to limit it by the fact that a lot of people just aren't going to want to participate in this thing, especially with these bigger units, right? If you get one of these 3,500 waters, and by the time we hit, let's say, month 12, I mean, it's going to be a ridiculous amount of ALEO you're going to have to stake, right? So it's definitely going to not make it very appealing. The downfall also, though, is that that can also centralize it. Maybe you can have whales come in and they're the ones kind of taking over the network because of that. And now you have only maybe a couple hundred ASICs taking over the whole damn network, right? Again, centralizing things even further. This is kind of the bigger issue with it, is that it's definitely going to centralize things. Especially if we go down to only like 3-4 pools. Okay, it's already a very centralized coin as is, and then just to do it even worse, it's going to change things, right? So to each their own. Just be fully aware of these things. You want to at least have that minimum amount. Again, keep up to date on whatever pool you decide to go with. Again, the A0 works best with whale pools, so I will probably be sticking there. Unless something happens with DX pool and we don't have to stake and they're fully going to cover it, then that would definitely be a possibility. So definitely going to keep my eyes here, but I fully expect them to do something similar, right? Realistically, though, they're probably, at least initially, going to have the best system because, again, like we mentioned, they do offer other staking services with a lot of these other coins, right? So they're familiar with the custody aspect and having that back end, right? Versus a lot of these other guys, they're going to try to rush and come up with whatever way that they're going to do it, right? Which now we have the amount. We just got to have a way to add coins to it. Like, are they going to assign us our own wallet? It's hard to say what they can do. Again, if there was time, they could do something. They can start some kind of... It's hard to say. They can do it via smart contracts. There's a lot of options they could do, again, if they had the time. The unfortunate thing is they just don't, right? So let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think of this? Again, not a fan at all whatsoever. The ALEO for me is now on the shit list. But let me know in the comments, though, guys. What do you guys think? Please comment, like, and subscribe, guys. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I am out.